Hey there, it's Sam. I'm here in Mexico. You see the beautiful beach behind me. Pretty cool, huh? So we have this eclipse coming this week. It's going to be happening on Tuesday afternoon and into the evening in Libra. I've spoken a lot about the eclipse the last few weeks, and it'll be pretty powerful. So it's a real good time for you to reestablish a new intention about the next 6 months or so. And it's going to be really important because it's happening in Libra, where Saturn is exalted. We have this exalted Saturn join the debilitated Sun, so it really brings a lot of potential for service and humility and connection to things that we want to manifest over a long period of time, because this is the nature of Saturn. And what happens is when you have a planet that's debilitated, like the Sun, and joined a planet that's exalted, the difficulty or the power of the one planet gets transferred to the other. That's essentially the way you read that indication. It's what's called Nichabanga, and it's sometimes sort of codified into a, well, it's not bad if it's Nichabanga. Instead of actually talking about what it is, we just bring out these simplistic good and bad things that don't really pan out very well. So what happens is the power of Saturn winds up sort of rescuing the detriment of the Sun, and that means that instead of the Sun's weakness really hurting us too bad, it winds up being supported by the nature of the Sun, but the Sun's weakness is still there, which means there can be some lack of confidence right now, literally lack of fire and Agni in our body and in our digestive tract, for instance. Like we may be experiencing, for instance, gas and poor digestion and low vitality because the Sun is debilitated and it's joined Saturn. But those things, rather than really harming us, can turn around and go to supporting our more practical realization of our limitations and showing us that we're not invincible. We often go around when we're healthy and vital, and we just kind of charge around into the world and kind of don't reflect or don't introspect enough. And of course, with this Sun joined Saturn, it compels more of an introspection. It compels us to look within a little bit more, because that's the nature of Saturn, and it even brings more of a it makes the lack of confidence and the lack of vitality something that can be quite creative, because Saturn is where we feel that also, where we feel life's limitations. So with this exalted Saturn, of course it's in Libra, what winds up happening is when we feel that inherent weakness of our self in our constitution, in our physical body, or in our confidence level, we naturally hope to be able to reach out to others and feel the support of others. And that's what Libra is about. This is why Saturn is exalted there, because it's where we will reach out to others in our moment of weakness, and not only reach out to others, but also want to support them in their moments of weakness. So this is what we can all be doing right now, and this is a big creative principle for the next couple of years, with Saturn going through Libra. And very soon we're going to have Saturn Rahu in Libra, and Rahu is going to expand those qualities of the exalted Saturn in Libra and really lead us to a greater social contract with each other. Here at this course I'm teaching in Mexico, it's on the nodes and on this eclipse cycle, and we're also spending some time talking about what the Saturn Rahu transit in Libra is going to be like. And, you know, a lot of that has to do with reaffirming the social contract, not just with each other as individuals, but with different cultures in the world. And I think it's going to be a time when we can really realize a lot of the promise of the Arab Spring and things like that, and put into practice a lot of these social experiments that have been happening in the Middle East and around the world, and even in the U.S., like with our recent election. It really surprised everyone, the results. And the actual result of that election is that the sort of diversity of the U.S., which you could maybe look at as a model of the world, is what really carried the day, because the Democratic incumbent Barack Obama won like almost all of the, you know, Latino and the gay and the marginalized and the women and people other than just like white men in power were validated. So this whole idea of a more global community is on the ascent now. And we really have to start looking at things like this, or we're not going to survive, really. And this is what the whole thing about, you know, 2012 and the end of the Mayan calendar is about. This is why I'm here in Mexico right now, because I wanted to be here in this sacred land when we had this eclipse. So on this eclipse, you know, you want to try to set your intention. It's going to be from about, it's like, I think it's 1 to about 6 Central Time on Tuesday. So you want to really set your intention and sink into that feeling of being a citizen of the world and seeing how well you're honoring your social obligations, not just to people in your immediate sphere, but even in a global sense. Know that it's a time for increased service and, you know, joy to do that. Also creativity and you know spreading beauty and love and joy. It's happening in Venus-ruled Libra. And the other great thing about it is the other planet that's really strong is Mars, because Mars has now moved into Sagittarius. So really the two planets that are the strongest, actually the only two that are really strong, is Mars and Saturn. The other ones, you know, Venus is debilitated, the Sun is debilitated, Mercury's retrograde with Rahu in Scorpio, Jupiter's retrograde with Ketu in Taurus, but Mars is in Sagittarius, where we are willing and where we have the courage to really defend with enthusiasm and passion our high teachings and principles, which is Sagittarius. So these are the two powerful energies. Mars is strong in Sagittarius, where we're willing and where we have the courage to really pursue and defend our principles. And Saturn is exalted in Libra, where we look to serve the other in our time of need or in their time of need and in our moments of weakness, rather than, you know, trying to go it alone or you know, hide in some dark corner. We actually step up and serve and contribute, because we know, you know, with Libra, it's really kind of this sort of elevation of the concept that we want to help others who have suffered because we have suffered ourselves, so we know what it's like. And so that's a great creative force right now, and that'll sustain through this week, or you know, for the next several months. The rest of this week, you know, the moon is going to go through Scorpio, join Rahu on Wednesday and Thursday, and then Friday and Saturday the moon will be in Sagittarius, where it's joined Mars, and then Sunday it'll be in Capricorn. So there's, you know, it's a pretty heavy week in that regard. We'll have Moon Rahu in Scorpio on Wednesday and Thursday, which could bring some emotional restlessness and stress as well. And then the moon goes into Sagittarius and is joined Mars, which again, you know, that Moon-Mars conjunction can bring quite a bit of emotional volatility. So you want to try to keep cool this week, you know. Just remember, it's not, you know, those temporary feelings and emotions are not eternal, you know, and all of it has a creative force. I mean, has a creative option. On Wednesday and Thursday, when the moon goes through Scorpio, try to stabilize those emotions and those feelings. When it goes through Sagittarius on Friday and Saturday, try to connect with your higher teachings and have the courage to do that. And on Sunday, try to cultivate some healthy solitude when the moon goes through Capricorn. So have a good week. I'll give you another look at the Mexican Riviera. Hola, aloha.